DVD-Forum.at meldet sich wieder hier von der Comic-Con Austria aus dem Design Center in Linz. Neben mir sitzt jetzt Brian Wheeler. And Brian, before we start about your movie roles, what I'm always wondering is how do people get into acting? How does this whole thing start?
Well, for me it started, I was a graphic designer, and then I saw it in the local newspaper that they wanted people under 4'6". So I just phoned up and I got the job, and that was Return of the Jedi. I was an Ewok for 2.5 weeks, and then I got asked to be a Jawa, and I ended up on Jabba the Hutt's palace for the Jawa for 2 more, and then I picked up an agent, an agent picked me up, and I've been working ever since then for 30 years, and I'm still doing it.
So, being both a Jawa and an Ewok on Return of the Jedi, what is for you the difference in being both characters? Does it feel different to be under the mask or under the hood? Do you act differently?
Yes, as an Ewok you're very much friendlier and you're more tribal with the other Ewoks, where with a Jawa, wearing the hood and the mask, you become very solitary, and you are dealing, well, we're scrap metal dealers, so we were more scavenging and looking for things.
So you were both in Star Wars and you were also a big part in the Harry Potter franchise, which are both, I gotta say, 2 of the biggest names that we actually have right now. But the movies, I think, are very different. If you look back at Star Wars Episode 6, you have a lot of practical effects, makeup, costumes, and Harry Potter replaces a lot of that with CGI, digital images. For you as an actor, what is, the main difference working with both styles? And personally, what do you prefer on set and on screen?
That's a long question, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been thinking about that one. With CGI, you don't see what you're working towards. Where as an Ewok and a Jawa, we were with physical, the different, the steps, the background, and it was all there. Where in CGI, I quite often worked in green screen, and so we didn't actually know what was behind us, and so you don't quite react the same way as something or someone being there. So that's the main difference. It's not quite there. Unfortunately, CGI is taking over a lot more, which I prefer the real life things. For example, Willy Wonka, they only used one Oompa Loompa and they CGI'd him. And on the original Gene Wilder one, they had 10 even Oompa Loompas as real people. So that's a bit unfortunate for me. It's one person working, where in the original there was 10 people working.
And for you, you worked a lot with costumes, with makeup. What was the most complex mask you ever had to put on, and how long did it take to apply and remove?
Well, it was Harry Potter, because I was at the front of the bank scene, where people at the back of the bank scene just had a mask that they pulled on. But because I was near the front, I had to have the whole pieces, which was a piece at the front, a piece at the bottom, a piece on the side, and I had black contact lenses, and I had false teeth as well put in, which were spiky. So that took about 4 hours to put on. And one day they called me in to put it all on, and then the makeup designer looked at me and went, yes, that's fine, and they made me take it all off again. So I was in the chair for about 6 hours in all. Fortunately, I've got a lot of patience, so I just sat there and went into my own little world while they put all the stuff on around my face.
And what can you tell us about acting under a mask? Because I think you have to work quite differently when you're wearing a mask.
Yeah, you become the character that you are. As I say, we were bankers, and you became banker in your mind. As soon as you take it off, I then came back to Brian Wheeler. So once it's the build-up of your character when they're putting all the things on you. Yeah.
And you were in, I think, 4 Harry Potter movies, different ones, and only 1 Star Wars movie. Did it ever occur to you, to ask whether you could be a part of one of the later ones, or were you approached to return to the franchise?
I was approached to return to the Harry Potter. I started off as just a goblin in the Quidditch final, and then I got the extra parts. With the Star Wars, I'm still trying. They're still filming now, and I'm still ringing up my agent and say, do they want me? Do they want me? And unfortunately, they don't want me at the moment, but we shall see. We never know.
but there are also a lot of Star Wars related fan projects around the world. There is one that was filmed in Austria, it's called Regrets of the Past, and it's a really, really great effort. And have you ever considered or were approached to work for a fan-based Star Wars movie?
There's obviously some stuff on YouTube and you get the odd approach, but no, not really. No, unfortunately. I can't expand the answer on that one.
Yeah. And you're doing a lot of conventions, and for you personally, what is the greatest thing about coming to conventions, and what's, just say the coolest thing that ever happened to you?
Well, I just loved speaking to the fans because their faces light up when you tell them a story or a secret of what's happened, or there's a scene in Return of the Jedi that never got shot because myself or my mate Andy kept falling through the holes on the grid in Jabba the Hutt's palace, and I've actually got photos of it happening, and people's faces go, hey, that really happened in the film and it didn't really make it to the thing. I went, yeah, and then you tell them things, little stories about what's happened in there. So meeting the public and seeing them very happy makes my job a lot easier and a lot nicer.
And a final question, because I read something in your filmography that kind of, stood out to me. You also appeared on the show Top Gear, and I would like to ask you, are you a big fan of fast cars, or?
Yes, I am. I was on Top Gear. I co-drove with Richard Hammond in the Mallorca Spanish Rally, and it was one of the wickedest times I'd had, and I love fast cars. I follow Formula One, and for my 50th birthday I went to our local race centre and I drove a car very, very fast around the racetrack. So yes, and to get the job on Top Gear, I actually told a few lies to get the job because I just wanted to be on Top Gear. I was on it previously in a tiny little role, but to go rally driving with the three boys, yeah, that was awesome. And I do like fast cars.
So Brian, I say thanks a lot for talking to us. Have a great time here in Linz, and can you already tell, will you return to Austria maybe in a couple of months, or?
Yeah, I think we could be returning to Austria, which we're really looking forward to, because we've had a really good time in Austria and they've just looked after us so nice. You just watch out for Vienna.
Yeah.
Vienna.
I will just say watch out for the announcements. Danke euch fürs Zuschauen, fürs Interview. Thanks to you, Brian, for talking to us, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.